My name is Catherine Eusebio. This is how to tell your story in 6 steps. Step 1, introduce settings, characters, and the relationships. You, a dorky, charming boy, interested in technology and science. Me, the protagonist, the highly visible and yet sometimes still in the closet, undocumented activist. We find each other. We connect. 2 microphones plugged into a home karaoke system, we sing 90s pop songs into each other's ears for what seems like a decade. Step 2, introduce conflict into your narrative. Months later, the differences come out. You don't like desserts, and I basically only eat desserts. I am a morning person, and you thrive at night. You analyze the world through the scientific method, and I see the world through the lens of politics. But for dinner, we can agree on a Thai restaurant. One of us, me, begins a casual dinner conversation on the subject of ICE raids and deportations and detention. And you add, well, isn't ICE just deporting people that shouldn't be here? I fumble, trying to walk you through the labyrinth of immigration law, economics, and foreign policy with a side of pad thai. They do not go well together. Step 3, heighten the drama with pauses and varying the cadences of your speech. My thoughts are tossed and mixed and fried, a steaming helping of nausea, a generous dollop of loneliness. Either I could tell you that I am one of those people that shouldn't be here. I could tell you that I came here as a child, found out when I was 16, didn't stop blaming my parents till I knew better. I could tell you how I struggled to pay for college on my own, how I was rejected from scholarships, and how I cried silently into my sleeves on BART to avoid disturbing other passengers. I could tell you how I joined the movement, how I advocated for the DREAM Act with hundreds of other people, even when immigration reform was still a third-rail issue. I could tell you how I will always feel like a foreigner, even if I stay or if I leave. I could tell you, I might be able to change your mind, but I could tell you and fail to win you over too. Step 4, add humor to relieve tension. Or I could make a grand exit. People that shouldn't be here, you mean people like me? You can have dinner alone. And I can walk out with my head held high, fist in the air, expecting people to give me high fives and applauses on my way to the door. But then who would pay for dinner? And then who would drive me home? I could hang out in the parking lot. If I walked out on you, who else am I giving up on? Step 5, communicate purpose with your audience. Of course, I am down for the cause. I've had my share of anger and oppression and struggle, and I've also lobbied and rallied and protested the shit out of everything. But what would you do? Every day we have a choice. We can fortify ourselves in our comfort zones of communities of people that think like us. Or we can choose to have conversations with everyone else, people who would otherwise not understand who we are. But if this is truly a movement to bring justice into our society, then shouldn't we be including as many people as possible? This is our challenge and our responsibility, discovering where our values meet, even when we don't expect them to. Finding points of connection, even when our opinions are polarized. Step 6, conclude your story. So I don't walk out and protest. Instead, we finish our dinner. I reach across the table and say, let's talk. Tell me your story and I'll tell you mine. Thank you.